Before we dive into the tale, please share in the comments the city from which you're tuning in. Delight in the braces and tale. Everyone, Khloe had always been resilient, but in recent months, even her resolve was beginning to knight. At 19, she confronted the world with Lucas cradled in her arms. As Lucas reached the age of 6, his needs expanded, and the expenses followed suit. In a state of despair and devoid of opportunities, she found herself weeping through the night, while each morning was a quest for hope in seemingly barren landscapes. Yet on that particular day, an unusual occurrence took place. On the modest kitchen table beside the old bread rested a sheet of paper that her neighbor had dropped off earlier. Khloe clutched the ad with quivering hands, absorbing each word as though it were a golden opportunity waiting to be seized. Exclusive caregiver for affluent clientele, challenging tasks, outstanding compensation in search of confidentiality and dedication. For an instant, her heart fluttered unexpectedly. What does demanding mean? Could someone like her, leading a life marked by simplicity and challenges, truly have a still chance? However, the impressive salary signified a superior education for Lucas, a home with ample room for him to play, and evenings where she wouldn't have to decide between covering the electricity bill or providing meals. Khloe inhaled deeply. This might be the pivotal moment she had longed for, or the dawn of a maneuver, fresh endeavor that would transform everything. The following morning, Khloe made her way to the mansion. The grand iron gate swung open, unveiling a garden so immaculate it seemed to belong to another realm. A housekeeper named Lucy welcomed her at the door with a Princedome courteous smile. Greetings, I'll escort to Mr. Foster, but I should caution you, he is quite exacting and straightforward. Simply speak the truth. Khloe nodded, her palms slick with anxiety as she made her way through the stand, hushed corridors. As Lucy swung the office door open, Khloe caught her first glimpse of Arthur Foster. He sat in a wheelchair, impeccably attired in a suit, yet it was his eyes that truly captured attention, chilly, methodical, and distinctly provocative. Are you the one we're looking for? He inquired directly. Absolutely, sir, Khloe responded, making an effort to convey assurance. Arthur inclined his head ever so slightly. What motivates you to pursue this position? Khloe inhaled deeply. I am a mother raising my child on my own. I am determined to create a brighter future for my son, and I am prepared to take any necessary steps to achieve that goal. Arthur remained quiet for a few moments that stretched on endlessly. With a swift gesture, he pivoted his wheelchair. Commence the journey tomorrow, please. Don't let me down. As Khloe settled Lucas into bed that night, a swirl of relief and anxiety washed over her. This opportunity had the potential to transform everything, yet there was an intensity in Arthur's gaze that suggested the mansion held secrets beyond what was immediately visible. The following day, Khloe stepped into her new workplace for the very first time. Lucy welcomed her once more, this time with a more casual demeanor, yet maintaining the same level of efficiency. Come along with me. I will clarify your responsibilities. As we proceed, as they strolled through the expansive, hushed corridors, Lucy articulated her words with precision. Mr. Arthur Foster follows a meticulously crafted routine. Your primary duty will involve providing support with bathing and dressing him. He values speed and effectiveness in all things. It's worth mentioning that he has a strong aversion to insincere niceties. Maintain a level of professionalism. Khloe took a deep breath. Lucy's tone offered comfort, yet it couldn't wipe away the impact of Arthur's words from the previous day. Please don't let me down. Those words resonated in her thoughts, serving as a cautionary reminder. In the master bathroom, Khloe observed the specialized equipment tailored for Arthur's needs. Side rails adorn the space, accompanied by a specialized shower bench, while a prostuli a life and pecs of place, which a life and port in grace. Small table showcased an array of luxurious products. Just as she was beginning to grasp the situation, the door swung open, and Arthur made his entrance, skillfully navigating his wheelchair. Tune begin. I don't have all day, he said, his tone sharp, avoiding her gaze entirely. Khloe gave a swift nod. Absolutely, sir. She started to modify the bench to facilitate his transfer from the wheelchair. Even with her unwavering resolve, she found herself drawn to the scars on his hands. As he clutched the rails with intensity, he remained silent, yet his body conveyed a powerful message. Khloe lingered close by, poised to offer her help if needed. "Don't treat me like I'm incapable," Arthur said abruptly, shattering the quiet. "That's not what I'm doing," Khloe responded swiftly, striving to maintain her composure. "I simply wish to guarantee your well-being." Arthur let out a derisive laugh but chose to remain silent. The remainder of the bath unfolded in an uncomfortable hush, interrupted solely by the gentle flow of water as she immersed her hands in the warmth of his shoulders. Khloe's gaze fell upon a deep, jagged scar that traced a path down his back. After a brief pause, she chose to refrain from asking any questions. Not at this moment. Once she assisted Arthur in getting dressed, Khloe started to organize the bathroom. He observed her subtly, as if piecing together the enigma she presented. "You appear to be managing this quite well," he commented, his tone resembling more of an evaluation than a praise. "I faced more challenging situations," Khloe responded. Candidly, though, she chose not to go into detail. Arthur chose not to delve deeper. He quietly pivoted his wheelchair toward the door and exited the room, leaving behind a silence that spoke volumes. The remainder of the day unfolded with a blend of guidance from Lucy and instances where Khloe found herself engaging directly with Arthur. He wasn't overtly impolite, yet there was an unmistakable quality to his presence that conveyed he was perpetually in command. Nonetheless, Khloe observed subtle nuances that belied his outward appearance, the tension in his hands as they clutched the armrests of his wheelchair when someone approached too closely. He consistently averted his gaze whenever the conversation veered into personal territory. During lunch, Khloe encountered Evelyn for the very first time. She glided into the dining room with graceful steps exuding an unmistakable confidence. Her lavish attire, unique fragrance, an icy stare signaled that she was not one to be easily satisfied. "So you're the new caregiver," Evelyn remarked, her smile lacking warmth. "Indeed, I'm Khloe," she responded, maintaining her poise. Evelyn took her time before replying. She released a brief chuckle before glancing over at Arthur. "I trust you won't cause her too much hassle. She appears delicate." Arthur remained still, yet Khloe observed a subtle tightening of his jaw. The atmosphere in the room crackled with intensity. Evelyn appeared to take pleasure in stirring the pot, and Khloe understood that she would have to navigate her presence with caution. As Khloe busied herself with tidying the rooms, Lucas's voice came through the Remerity neighbor's phone. His bright voice was the sole comfort in her stressful day. "Hey Mom, how did your day at work go? Is the house spacious?" he inquired with enthusiasm. "It's a change, darling, but I'm managing just fine." "Did you have a proper meal with Anna?" "Indeed. I long for your presence." Khloe felt a pang in her chest, yet she managed to maintain a cheerful tone. "I feel the same way, my dear, but this is for our future. Please remember to turn in early tonight." "All right." Once the call ended, Khloe fixed her gaze on the phone for several moments. Her time at the mansion felt like stepping into an entirely new realm, and the absence of Lucas only intensified the challenge. As the day drew to a close, Lucy paused to engage in conversation with Khloe in the kitchen. "Your performance today was commendable." Mr. Foster remained silent about his grievances, which boded well he appears. "It was intricate," Khloe confessed. Lucy emitted a brief chuckle. "That's quite a positive remark, considering his initial state." The incident transformed everything. He lost more than merely his ability to move. He no longer believed in the goodness of others, just as Khloe was about to inquire further. Arthur stepped into the kitchen doorway, though he remained silent. His presence appeared to saturate the atmosphere. "I'll need you early tomorrow," he stated, his gaze fixed intently on Khloe. "Arrive on time." "Certainly, sir," she responded, making an effort to conceal her fatigue. As he departed, Lucy gently patted Khloe's shoulder. "Everything will turn out all right. He simply requires some time." The following morning began at dawn. Khloe reached the mansion just before dawn, finding Lucy in the kitchen as she brewed a steaming cup of tea. "Have you settled into the routine yet?" Lucy inquired, offering her a mug. I'm in the process of learning, yet he is complicated, Khloe remarked, sipping her tea as she sought the perfect word to capture Arthur. Lucy chuckled. Softly complicated is the most generous description I've encountered, yet he wasn't quite this way prior to the accident, not completely justice. Khloe was about to inquire further. A resonant noise reverberated through the corridor. Arthur was gently drumming his fingers on the table in the adjacent room, indicating that he required assistance. Let's get going, Lucy said, giving Khloe an encouraging nod. As Khloe stepped into the living room, she noticed Arthur gazing out the window, his attention captured by the immaculate gardens. He appeared deep in contemplation, yet the tightness in his shoulders revealed that he remained ever vigilant. I'm prepared to help you, sir, Khloe stated, maintaining a calm demeanor. Arthur pivoted his wheelchair in her direction, arching an eyebrow in curiosity. Let's find out how long you can assert that with confidence. Khloe brushed off the remark, heading to the sink kitchen to retrieve his morning medications. As she walked, an unsettling feeling crept over her, as if someone else were trailing her steps. As she pivoted, her gaze landed on Evelyn, who was poised in the hallway. Good morning, Evelyn said, her smile laced with a hint of irony. I trust that you're finding satisfaction in your work. It may not suit everyone. This difficult yet essential, Khloe responded with courtesy. Evelyn advanced, her gaze sharpening with intent. It's important to recognize that your position is not guaranteed and can change at any time. Make sure to remember that a subtle menace hung in the menace atmosphere. Khloe remained quiet and focused on her work, acutely aware of Evelyn's eyes on her until she vanished. Down the corridor, the day unfolded with its usual tasks, accompanied by the ever-present figure of Arthur, who appeared to challenge Khloe at every turn. In the midst of the bath, he shattered the stillness with a gravenarter's black, surprising inquiry. What brings you here? Truly, Khloe took a brief moment to reflect. I have expressed my desire to ensure a brighter future for my son. Arthur emitted a brief, nearly sardonic chuckle. The narrative never changes. There's a constant flow of people engaging in acts of kindness for one another. Ultimately, it all comes down to self-interest. Khloe sensed the chill in his words, but stood her ground. It might be difficult for you to accept, but not everyone is alike. Arthur fixed his gaze on her for a brief moment before diverting his eyes. Khloe discovered that beneath his stern exterior lay a depth beyond mere resentment, a tale of anguish, one he protected with unwavering resolve. While organizing Arthur's room, Khloe stumbled upon a box filled with old photographs. A single photograph captured her interest. Arthur stood with a smile beside a woman she recognized as Evelyn. They appeared joyful, yet there was an element to her smile that felt contrived, as if it were merely a facade for the yes lens. Just as she was about to return the blonde photo to its place, Arthur showed up at braced the door. Is it a habit of yours to rummage through others' belongings? I found myself. Khloe started to speak, but Arthur lifted a hand, interrupting her. It is of no consequence. Curiosity is getting the better of you, isn't it? Do they gaze upon me, perceiving an enigma poised for unraveling? Khloe paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. She never intended to intrude on his personal space, yet the tone of his accusation left her feeling as though she had overstepped her bounds. If discussing it isn't your preference, that's perfectly okay. You don't owe anyone an explanation, she said with a serene demeanor, placing the photo back into the box. Arthur paused, his voice barely above a whisper. That photo was captured before the accident. Everything unraveled. He pivoted and departed, leaving Khloe with an abundance of questions and a scarcity of answers. During lunchtime, Lucas reached out once more. Khloe's day was brightened by his cheerful voice. Hey Mom, have you checked out the garden? Is it beautiful? It's absolutely stunning, darling. You would truly enjoy it. Perhaps someday I can bring you to this place. Lucas chuckled softly. What of the man seated in the chair? Is he kind? Khloe paused to gather her thoughts before responding. He stands apart, however. I am discovering ways to navigate through it. After hanging up, Khloe was overcome by a deep sense of yearning for Lucas. The task was challenging, yet she kept reminding herself that it was all for him, as she was sorting through the kitchen cabinets. Lucy suddenly emerged holding a package. In her hands this has been brought to you. Khloe unwrapped the package and discovered a note without a signature. The language was straightforward yet brimming with spite. Be mindful of where you place your feet. A shiver coursed through her body. Who might have dispatched it? Evelyn instantly flashed into her thoughts, yet Khloe understood that she couldn't make any accusations. Without solid evidence, she presented the note to Lucy, whose expression reflected clear concern. How peculiar. I will investigate this further. Exercise caution, Khloe. Many individuals' presence seemed to resist change by day, and Khloe felt drained yet resolute. In the midst of her last assignment, she noticed Arthur perched by himself in the library, gazing at an open book that appeared to hold no interest for him. Is there anything you require, sir? He gazed at her, his weariness more pronounced than before. That question always comes up. Isn't it exhausting to keep offering assistance? It's my job, Khloe replied, though her voice held a depth of sincerity she hadn't meant to convey. Arthur studied her intently for a moment before uttering a remark that caught her off guard. Perhaps you stand apart from the rest. Perhaps it was the first moment Khloe witnessed a glimpse of vulnerability in him for the first time. She sensed that perhaps she could truly create an impact. The following day emerged under a blanket of grey as a gentle rain draped the mansion's gardens. Khloe resolved to put the enigma of the porter's note behind her and concentrate on her tasks. That morning Arthur exhibited a quiet demeanor which she found unsurprising. He appeared to be an introspective, individual encased in towering barriers, both tangible and intangible. While she readied the bathroom for Arthur's morning routine, the sound of wheels drew nearer. He stepped in silently, his familiar, icy, and observant demeanor in place. Good morning, sir, Khloe remarked, attempting to uplift the atmosphere. Arthur remained silent, instead signaling for her to start. Khloe had begun to acclimate to his quiet demeanor. The routine appeared ordinary until Khloe detected an unusual detail. In the bath, Arthur averted his gaze from her as he typically did, yet his shoulders seemed to carry a lighter weight. He appeared more relaxed, permitting her to focus on her work without his typical interruptions or biting remarks. Sir, Khloe began, pausing briefly before she continued. The weather today is absolutely ideal for a stroll in the garden. Perhaps we could. No, he interrupted her, his tone as frigid as the breeze outside. Khloe let out a soft sigh, choosing not to delve deeper. Nonetheless, there was an unmistakable quality about him that set him apart, subtle hints that only a keen observer would pick up on. As Khloe sorted through Arthur's bedroom closet, she stumbled upon a neglected photo album, its surface coated in dust. She paused for a moment, uncertainty flickering in her mind, yet the pull of curiosity ultimately triumphed within. Were images of Arthur prior to the incident, upright, beaming, encircled by loved ones and companions. A single photograph in particular captured her interest. Arthur embraced a woman with sparkling eyes, radiating joy. That day is etched in my memory. Arthur's voice caught her off edgy guard. He stood at the door, his gaze fixed on her with unwavering intensity. Khloe took a deep breath, hastily returning the album to its rightful spot. Apologies, I was merely Christ. There's no need for apologies, he cut in. That was a moment in the past, a fleeting era that has vanished. Khloe perceived the sorrowful undertone in his words. Arthur appeared adrift in recollections that eluded his grasp. You were happy, she remarked almost instinctively. Arthur chuckled, though the sound was laced with bitterness. Joy is often given too much credit. What truly counts is having control, and that is what I find myself lacking. Perhaps not completely, Khloe responded gently. You still have the power to decide how to confront challenges. Arthur took a moment before replying. He pivoted his wheelchair and exited the room. During lunch, Khloe spotted Evelyn seated at the table. She exuded elegance, yet her posture hinted at an underlying tension. Are you finding satisfaction in your work, Khloe? Evelyn inquired, her tone courteous yet teetering on the edge of challenge. Indeed, ma'am, Khloe responded, her eyes remaining focused on her plate. Evelyn inclined her body ever so slightly. Arthur has the potential to be challenging. I trust you have the skills. To manage that situation, he requires an individual who comprehends their role. Khloe sensed the sharpness in Evelyn's words yet maintained her poise. I strive to excel in my responsibilities, Evelyn beamed, appearing content with the reply yet. Khloe sensed her unease intensifying. Evelyn's presence served as a perpetual caution, urging her to navigate with care. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the library, Khloe found herself interrupted once more by a call. From Lucas, his bright voice brought a refreshing change to an otherwise weighty day. "Mummy, I created a drawing for you today," Lucas exclaimed with enthusiasm. "Is that so?" "Text," Khloe replied with a smile. "I can't wait to see when I get home." "I love you, Mummy," he said, his tender voice enveloping Khloe's heart with a sense of hope. "I adore you as well, my dear. Show kindness to Anna." Once the call ended, Khloe sensed tears beginning to form. Lucas was her anchor, yet the burden of the distance separating them appeared to intensify with each passing day. As the evening unfolded and the aroma of dinner began to fill the air, Arthur made his way into the kitchen, his infrequent visits made his presence unexpectedly startling for Khloe. "You seem different today," he remarked, his tone carrying a hint of nonchalance. "In what way is it different?" she inquired with a sense of curiosity. More assertive, Khloe let out a gentle chuckle. "I don't conform easily. I hold my work in high regard." Arthur gazed at her for a moment, as though weighing each word she uttered. "That's quite nice." As well as the evening unfolded, Khloe, he observed that Arthur appeared more open to engaging with others. He remained somewhat aloof, yet a faint change in his demeanor was evident. It seemed he might be starting to place some trust in her, even if only a fraction. The following day, Khloe resolved to embark on a fresh adventure. During the typical morning bath, she inquired, "Have you ever thought about spending time in the garden?" Arthur lifted an eyebrow in curiosity. "Are we revisiting that topic once more?" "I believe it would be beneficial." She insisted that fresh air could do wonders, attempting to maintain a casual tone. Arthur paused for a moment, then offered a slight nod. Khloe embraced the moment, and moments later they found themselves in the garden, enveloped by blossoms and towering trees. Arthur appeared uneasy initially, yet over time Khloe observed him becoming more at ease. A soft wind caressed his cheeks while he looked up at the overcast heavens. "I used to visit this place frequently," Arthur confessed, shattering the stillness prior to the incident. "It held a special place in my heart. It still has the potential to be." Khloe responded, "Nothing has been entirely stripped away from you. It's essential to reconnect with what brings you joy." Arthur remained silent, yet his grip on the armrests of his wheelchair eased. Khloe understood that despite its size, this moment represented a triumph. The morning air was crisp and bright as Khloe began her day, drawing back the final curtains in Arthur's room to allow the sunlight to pour in, illuminating the space with warmth. Arthur observed quietly, as was his custom, his eyes fixed on a point far away, focused on an object outside the windows. "Good morning, sir," CL remarked, shattering the stillness. Arthur glanced upward, pausing before he replied. He appeared transformed, more relaxed, as though the stroll in the garden the day before had shattered an unseen barrier. "Good morning," he finally responded, his tone even but devoid of the typical chill. Khloe perceived this as a modest advancement. She discovered that with Arthur each movement was nuanced and rich with significance. While Khloe was fine-tuning Arthur's gear for his bath, a gentle sound drifted in from the hallway. Initially she believed it was Lucy, but upon opening the door she discovered Lucas instead. "Lucas," Khloe whispered, lowering herself to meet her son's gaze. "What brings you here? It was unwise of Anna to allow you to venture out alone." "I wanted to see you, Mummy," Lucas replied. Clutching a rolled-up drawing in his tiny hands, Khloe let out a soft sigh. Caught in a blend of frustration and affection, she was aware of his longing. Yet this moment was neither suitable nor appropriate. Just as she was about to quietly lead Lucas away, Arthur emerged. In the hallway he regarded the boy with an inquisitive gaze, yet remained silent. Lucas, in contrast, appeared completely unbothered. "Are you the one in the seat?" Lucas inquired straightforwardly, tilting his head with an innocent sense of wonder. Arthur furrowed his brow, but responded, "I am." Lucas approached, extending his drawing with anticipation. "I created this for my mom, but I believe you would enjoy it as well." Khloe attempted to step in. Lucas, "That behavior is not suitable. Let us proceed." "Let him." Arthur interjected, catching Khloe off guard. He picked up the drawing and examined it in silence. The artwork was a straightforward illustration brimming with lively hues. The purity of it stirred a subtle smile at the edges of Arthur's lips. "Are you fond of sketching?" he inquired of Lucas. "Absolutely. When I mature, my aspiration is to become an artist. My mom says I have a vivid imagination," Lucas exclaimed with excitement. Arthur gave a subtle nod. "Perhaps you possess something that tends to fade away for many as they age." Khloe, grappling with the unfolding events, remained quiet, keenly watching the surprising exchange between the two. Once Anna had brought Lucas back, Khloe made her way back to Arthur's room. He cradled the drawing on his lap, gazing at it as though it were a precious relic. "Your son is quite the character," Arthur remarked. "He's my source of strength," Khloe replied. "All my efforts are dedicated to him." Arthur took a moment before replying. He set the drawing down on the table beside his chair. "It would have been better if you had brought him earlier. He possesses a quality that eludes most individuals." In this place, Khloe found herself at a loss for words. It was the first instance where Arthur revealed a hint of vulnerability, and she felt compelled to let the moment unfold without interruption. As Khloe busied herself with dinner preparations, Evelyn stepped into the kitchen. Her gaze swiftly fell upon the drawing by Lucas which Arthur had brought along. "What is this?" Evelyn inquired, lifting the paper with a hint of contempt. "It's merely an illustration. My son made it," Khloe replied, maintaining a steady tone. Evelyn emitted a brief chuckle. "Arthur certainly has a talent for attracting a diverse array of intriguing individuals." Khloe's anger surged within her, yet she paused to inhale deeply. She understood that Evelyn was trying to provoke her, yet she refused to grant her the pleasure of a reaction. "If you'll excuse me, I have some work to attend to," Khloe remarked, redirecting her focus to her tasks. Evelyn advanced, her tone dark and menacing. "It may seem like you're making progress, but don't deceive yourself. Your presence is fleeting. I, in contrast, am everlasting." Khloe remained silent. She persisted in her tasks, even as Evelyn's words resonated within her thoughts. Later that night, Khloe discovered Arthur in the library. He sat quietly turning the pages of a book, yet his mind appeared to wander elsewhere. "Is everything okay, sir?" she inquired. "Is it possible for individuals to transform?" he inquired, his gaze averted from her. Khloe paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "Indeed, I believe they have the capability to do so. However, it requires dedication, and not all are inclined to put in the effort." Arthur finally raised his gaze to meet hers. "What happens if they resist change? What if they believe they've already lost all that was significant?" Khloe moved in, taking a seat in the chair next to him. "Perhaps they simply require a guiding hand to reveal that there remains a cause worthy of their struggle." Arthur remained quiet, yet a change flickered in his gaze. For the first time, it seemed he was contemplating the notion that perhaps not everything was beyond hope. The following morning, Khloe discovered an envelope resting on the kitchen counter. It was yet another note, yet this time the message struck with greater clarity. "Depart while the opportunity remains." A shiver coursed through her body. She presented the note to Lucy, whose expression reflected clear concern. "This has escalated beyond acceptable limits. I will have a conversation with Arthur." Lucy stated that he must be informed about the situation. "No, I don't want to create any issues," Khloe responded. "No matter who it may be, I refuse to be cowed by them. I'm here for my son, and I won't back down without a fight." Lucy nodded with hesitation, yet Khloe sensed that the housekeeper echoed her worries. As the day drew to a close, Khloe discovered Arthur in the garden, an unusual sight for him to be alone. He gazed at the horizon, his mind adrift in contemplation. He suddenly said, without meeting her gaze. Thank you for what you did yesterday. For what purpose? Khloe inquired, her brow furrowed in confusion. For accompanying your son, he brought to mind. A memory I had long overlooked. Khloe offered a gentle smile. What was that all about? Arthur finally turned his gaze toward her. Amidst the chaos, a glimmer of beauty persists, reminding us that hope endures even in the darkest times. How about we engage in a fun little activity with those who focus solely on the comments? Drop a pizza in the comments. Only those who reach this point will truly comprehend. Let us proceed with the tale. Khloe entered the kitchen at dawn and discovered Lucy making coffee. Even with the housekeeper's serene presence, Khloe sensed an increasing weight in the mansion's ambience. The lingering thoughts from the note of yesterday occupied her mind, yet she chose to keep it unspoken. Tasks awaited completion. Good morning, Lucy said, offering Khloe a pressed mug. Good morning, Khloe said, savoring a sip of her steaming coffee. Lucy regarded at her for a moment before uttering a word. You appear to be quite tense. Is there an issue? Khloe paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. It's insignificant, only my personal concerns. Lucy refrained from probing deeper, yet Khloe was aware that the housekeeper received more than she revealed. Khloe dedicated the morning to organizing Arthur's room. He appeared more subdued than normal, a detail Khloe had come to understand as an indication that he was lost in contemplation. As she tidied his bed, he observed her for a moment before finally breaking the silence. Have you received another note? Arthur inquired, his voice straightforward and surprising. Khloe paused, her body tensing as she turned to confront him. What makes you aware of that? Arthur gave a slight shrug. Lucy brought it up to me. I expected you to share that with me. Khloe let out a deep breath, acutely aware of the intensity of his stare. I didn't consider it to be significant. It's merely an attempt to instill fear in me. Arthur inclined his head just a fraction. Do you believe that's an issue worth overlooking? Khloe responded with conviction. I don't want to cause any trouble. Arthur let out a quiet chuckle, yet his tone lacked any trace of amusement. There are already issues in than like it. This home, Khloe, and you bear no blame for them. Khloe found herself at a loss for words. It seemed as though Arthur was alluding to something beyond the mere note. During lunch, Evelyn entered the dining room with deliberate strides. Clutching an envelope, she shot a fleeting look at Khloe before settling next to Arthur, presenting him the envelope with a strained smile. Arthur, I've brought over some documents for your signature. They include a few adjustments regarding the property management. Arthur gazed at the envelope, hesitating to reach for it right away. Are there any documents, Evelyn? At this moment, it's crucial, she emphasized, though her voice betrayed a touch of unease. From afar, Khloe observed the tension radiating from Evelyn. There was an unsettling quality to the interaction. Arthur finally accepted the envelope, but refrained from opening it. Instead, he placed it down and focused his gaze on Evelyn. How about we revisit this topic at a later time? At this moment, I would rather enjoy some lunch. Evelyn smiled, yet her expression revealed her discontent as Khloe said about preparing Arthur's afternoon tea. Lucas's call came through once more. The cheerful sound of her son's voice provided a much-needed respite from the surrounding tension. Mummy, today I created a picture of you and the man in the chair, Lucas exclaimed with enthusiasm. Is that so? Khloe replied with a smile. I can't wait to see it when I get home. Do you find joy in your work, Mummy? Lucas inquired, his tone brimming with naivety. Khloe paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. I certainly am, darling. This is for our benefit. After hanging up, Khloe experienced a tightness in her throat. Lucas was her anchor, yet she understood the necessity of protecting him from the burden of her struggles. During the early afternoon hours, Khloe discovered Arthur nestled in the library. He was scrutinizing the envelope Evelyn had delivered earlier, yet his mind appeared to wander far beyond the contents before him. Arthur muttered to himself more than to Khloe about her constant need to control everything. Oh, Khloe inquired with a hint of uncertainty. Evelyn, Arthur responded, his voice tinged with weariness and possibly annoyance. She pretends to be supportive, but her true motivation lies in what she can gain from me. Khloe held her tongue, yet Arthur pressed on before accident, I pried. Believed I had a grasp on the complexities of human nature. I believed. I understood who truly stood by me and who was merely seeking their own advantage. What comes next? Khloe inquired. Softly, at this moment, I perceive reality. In its true form, the incident didn't shatter me, Khloe. The individuals in my vicinity. Khloe sensed the gravity of his words. She felt that beneath Arthur's bitterness resided a profound pain, and that he was starting to trust her enough to share it. As Khloe was organizing the living room, she suddenly caught the sound of hurried footsteps echoing down the hallway. Evelyn burst in her gaze, locked onto Khloe. You possess something that is rightfully mine, Evelyn stated, her tone subdued yet tinged with menace. I have no idea what you're referring to, Khloe responded, making an effort to remain composed. Stop pretending to be innocent, Evelyn pressed on. If you believe you can carve out a niche for yourself here, you're in for a surprise. Individuals like you have no place in this realm. Khloe's heart raced, yet she masked her insecurity from Evelyn. My focus is solely on my tasks at hand. I seek to avoid conflict. Evelyn moved in, her gaze sharpening with intensity. So it's best to keep your distance from Arthur. Indeed, and just a heads up, the next message you receive may not be as pleasant. Khloe sensed a shiver course through her, yet she held on to her poise. Evelyn pivoted and exited the room, leaving Khloe solitary with the sorry Tomans. God, lingering resonance of her menacing words. Ultimately, Khloe resolved to share everything with Arthur. She realized she was facing a challenge far beyond her capacity to manage by herself. She discovered him in the garden, where he appeared serene, contemplating the twilight sky. I need to talk to you, Khloe said as she walked closer to him. Arthur gazed at her, unmistakably recognizing the gravity in her tone. What is it exactly? Khloe paused briefly, gathering in her thoughts before sharing the entire story. The notes, Evelyn's menacing words, and their clash in the living room. Arthur remained quiet, yet his demeanor grew more resolute with every utterance. Once, she concluded, he finally uttered a word Evelyn has always had a knack for, bending others to her will. But with me, that stops here. What will you choose to do? Khloe inquired, her concern evident. Arthur gazed at her, his voice brimming with resolve. I will manage it according to my own approach. However, understand this, Khloe, as long as you remain in this space, you are safeguarded by my presence. Don't allow Evelyn to intimidate you. Following her encounter with Evelyn the night before, Khloe sensed a palpable tension lingering in the atmosphere. Each look and gesture felt imbued with deeper significance she resolved to stick to. Her routine, as always, fully aware that Arthur was in the loop about the situation while arranging Arthur's bath supplies. She observed that he seemed more subdued than normal. It wasn't his typical icy quietude, but rather something deeper and more contemplative. Are you okay, sir? Khloe inquired while she repositioned the shower bench. Arthur gazed at her, his eyes narrowing just a touch. It seems you have a habit of asking that, don't you? It's part of the job, she said, with a soft smile. He let out a short laugh, but this time it was free of any irony. I find myself contemplating. Have you ever thought you could achieve something that seemed out of reach? She was taken aback by the question. Khloe paused, contemplating her response. Indeed, numerous occasions, and during certain moments I truly did. Arthur nodded, seemingly taking in her words with thoughtful consideration. Perhaps I ought to give it a shot. As well, that morning's bath felt unique. Arthur appeared more agreeable, permitting Khloe to help him without his typical biting comments. As she completed her task, his gaze fell upon her, causing her to hesitate momentarily. Do you think I could stand up one day? He asked, revealing a vulnerability that Khloe had never encountered before. I truly believe you can achieve anything as long as you're ready to put in the effort. She responded with genuine conviction. Arthur remained silent, his eyes fixed on her for a brief moment before he pivoted his wheelchair and exited the bathroom. Later that morning, Arthur invited Khloe to join him in the physical therapy room, a place he seldom frequented. The space was furnished with parallel bars, weights, and various rehabilitation equipment. I want to attempt something, he remarked, maneuvering his wheelchair closer to the 70 bars. Khloe felt a rush of surprise, yet she quickly stepped forward, prepared to lend her support. "Are you certain, sir? I wish to protect you from any harm. I'm already in pain," Arthur responded. What else could unfold? He started to place his hands on the bars, his arms quivering. With the strain, Khloe entered gently, providing support to his back. Each motion felt like a struggle, yet Arthur persevered. After a few moments of concentrated struggle, he succeeded in raising his torso just a bit. It was fleeting, yet it stirred something unique within him. "I sensed it," he uttered, gasping for air in that fleet instant. "I sensed it." Khloe beamed, her eyes sparkling with joy. "That's truly remarkable, sir. This marks the start of something greater." Arthur gazed at her, his expression etched with tension yet illuminated by a flicker of optimism. As Khloe assisted him back into his wheelchair, Evelyn stepped into the room, her irritation palpable. "What's happening here?" she inquired, her arms crossed. Defiantly, Arthur lifted his gaze to her, his demeanor resolute. "I'm reclaiming what's rightfully mine, something you never thought I was capable of achieving." Evelyn rolled her eyes, shifting her focus to Khloe. "Is this your concept? Allow me to surmise you believe you possess the power to change the world. Do you not?" Khloe responded with poise, attributing the idea to Mr. Foster, who is achieving remarkable advancements. Evelyn emitted a sardonic chuckle. "Advancement? He struggles to maintain his balance. This is not advancement, it is mere illusion." Before Khloe could utter a word, Arthur interjected, "That's enough, Evelyn. I'm weary of listening to you criticize everything you're not present to assist me. You are here for your own sake, Evelyn." Pause, taken aback by the resolute tone in Arthur's voice, yet rather than retreating, she shot him one last scornful glance before exiting the room. As Khloe busied herself with lunch preparations, Lucas's call came through. Once more, his bright voice was a soothing relief after the stress of the morning. "Mommy, today I created an illustration of a powerful figure. It's not in Tevenov Kos. Just you and the man in the chair," Lucas declared with pride. Khloe chuckled softly. "Is that so? I eagerly anticipate witnessing it. Are you conducting yourself appropriately?" "Yes, Mommy. But I miss you," he said gently. "I long for you as well, my dear. Rest assured our time together is just around the corner, I assure you." Once the call ended, Khloe sensed a surge of emotion, tears beginning to gather in her eyes. Lucas was her anchor, yet each passing day without him grew increasingly challenging. In the afternoon light, Khloe discovered Arthur amidst the blooms of the garden. He appeared more at ease, staring into the distance with a powerful, thoughtful look on his face. He expressed his gratitude for her actions today, his gaze averted from her. "You are the one responsible for this." "See you, Khloe," responded Arthur, let out a soft chuckle. "Khloe, you possess a remarkable talent. You inspire confidence in others. It's the least I can do," she remarked, settling down next to him. Arthur paused a moment, of silence hanging in the air before he finally spoke once more. "Have you ever considered that perhaps your presence serves a greater purpose?" Khloe's expression darkened just a bit. "Could you clarify what you mean? Perhaps your presence serves a purpose beyond mere labor. Perhaps there's a deeper significance." Khloe found herself at a loss for words. Arthur's tone hinted at a depth that suggested he was addressing matters beyond mere employment. As the day drew to a close and Khloe wrapped up at her tasks, Lucy made her way over to her. "I learned about the events that unfolded in the therapy room. Did Arthur genuinely attempt to rise?" Lucy inquired, her surprise evident indeed. "He succeeded for a brief moment," Khloe responded. Lucy shook her head, a look of clear admiration on her face. "He hasn't ventured into that territory previously." "Your impact is truly significant," Khloe offered a smile, yet remained silent. She realized she was just starting to grasp the significance of her influence and that the path ahead was still unfolding. The morning unfolded under a blanket of heavy clouds, hinting at the mounting tension within the mansion's walls. Khloe understood that Evelyn would not easily forget the confrontation from the day before, yet she was resolute in her desire to progress. Arthur's advancement was her main focus, and she held on to every minor triumph as evidence that it was all worthwhile, as she said about making breakfast. Lucy entered the Battery kitchen, clutching an envelope and wearing a look of concern. "Here's another note," Lucy said, passing it to Khloe. Khloe delicately opened the envelope, and the brief note sent a shiver down her spine. "Depart. Before the moment slips away." Lucy gently shook her head, a subtle gesture that spoke volumes. "This situation is becoming perilous. It is essential to inform Mr. Foster." Khloe paused, aware that Lucy's insight was spot on. The moment had arrived to confront the circumstances. Directly later, Khloe discovered Arthur in the library, as he often was, leafing through a book that appeared to lack his interest. "Sir," she started, drawing near, with the note clutched in her hand. "It's time for a conversation." Arthur glanced at her before shifting his gaze to the long note she offered him. His gaze sharpened as he absorbed the text. "Evelyn," he murmured, almost as if the name were a secret meant only for his own ears, rather than directed at Khloe. "We can't be certain that it's her," Khloe said, making an effort to remain composed. Arthur flung the note onto the table. "Certainty isn't a requirement for us. This reflects her approach, subtle cues, and influence she desires to have. Authority over every aspect. But what is the reason? What is her benefit from this?" Khloe inquired. Arthur gazed at her for a brief moment before responding. "Wealth, strength, all that she has ever desired, and all that she fears she may forfeit." A shiver coursed through Khloe, unsettling her very core. "What actions should we take?" Arthur offered a subtle smile, yet his gaze remained icy. "Count on me. She has gone too far." In the early afternoon, Arthur invited Khloe to accompany him to the time advising the physical therapy room. He appeared resolute, as though the note had sparked a fresh flame inside him. "Today we're giving it another shot," he remarked, maneuvering his wheelchair next to the parallel bars. Khloe assisted him in getting ready, observing the resolve etched on his features. With determination, he gripped the bars and started to pull himself up. His arms shook with determination, yet he pressed on, undeterred. "Text, you can do it, sir." Khloe encouraged, her voice steady yet soon soothing. Arthur succeeded in elevating his body more than he had previously, his legs remaining motionless, yet his torso was upheld by his arms. It was a modest victory, yet the grin on his face revealed that for him it held far greater significance. "I never believed I could accomplish that," he confessed, his breath coming in quick bursts. "Now you understand that you can," Khloe said with a smile as she assisted Arthur in getting comfortable in his wheelchair. Evelyn slipped into the room, seemingly poised for the ideal moment to make her entrance. "Another futile effort," she said. With a wry grin, Arthur fixed his gaze on her with determination. "If this seems so futile to you, what keeps you here?" Evelyn chuckled, yet the noise was anything but agreeable. "I'm here to ensure you don't harm yourself with these misguided notions. There comes a time when someone must take the reign of what you can no longer handle." "Is that what you refer to as management?" Arthur retorted, his tone laced with exasperation. "Controlling, undermining. Is that your craft?" Evelyn folded her arms, her smile disappearing. "I take the required actions." Arthur inhaled deeply, yet his stance stayed tense. "Take heed, Evelyn. This behavior will no longer be accepted." Evelyn exited the room in silence, yet Khloe sensed that the conflict was far from resolved. As the afternoon wore on, Khloe found herself in the kitchen when Lucas's call came through once more. His bright voice was a refreshing escape from the day's stress. "Mom, I spotted a rainbow today. Have you?" "Spotted one over there. Not today, but I look forward to seeing one soon," Khloe said with a smile. Lucas hesitated for a moment before inquiring, "Are you all right, Mummy? You seem a bit worn out." "I'm doing well, my dear. I'm a bit occupied at the moment, but rest assured I'm managing everything just fine." After hanging up, Khloe sensed the pang of longing for him intensify. Lucas served as her ultimate inspiration, yet the distance from him felt like an unending burden. Later that evening, Arthur requested Khloe to join him once more in the library. He appeared unusually solemn, as though lost in contemplation. "Khloe," he started, "have you ever pondered the reasons for my continued presence? What drives me to persist?" Khloe replied without a moment's pause, convinced that there remains Something valuable to strive for, Arthur offered a subtle smile. Perhaps you have a point, yet up to this point I believed I was navigating this journey by myself. I'm beginning to realize that seeking assistance could be beneficial. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, sir. At times we all require assistance, Khloe, responded. Arthur gazed at her intently for a prolonged moment before he spoke. Once more, have you ever considered that perhaps it's not solely about me? Perhaps there's a greater purpose for your presence here? Khloe remained silent, yet the gravity of his words enveloped her. The following morning, while Khloe busied herself with breakfast preparations, Lucy stepped into the kitchen, clutching a nice envelope with a hint of a smile. Lucy conveyed, Arthur asked me to pass this along to you. Carefully peeled open the envelope, revealing a note penned by hand. I appreciate your faith in me, Letun. Continue onward, she smiled, a surge of optimism washing over her. Arthur was evolving, and she understood that in some manner she played a role in that transformation. The day began with a pallor, serene facade, yet Khloe was acutely aware that the tranquility of the mansion often masked deeper truths. Arthur appeared to be invigorated by his recent strides in the therapy room, and this shift had a palpable impact on the overall ambience. Even Lucy pointed out how Arthur was more relaxed in his private interactions, a change that everyone observed. While Khloe was organizing the living room, a sudden loud noise from Arthur's office caught her off guard. She paused momentarily before stepping forward, and as she opened the door, she discovered Arthur in his wheelchair, his gaze intensely fixed on a stack of papers cluttering his desk. What occurred, sir? Khloe inquired with a hint of hesitation. Arthur raised one of the good documents, gesturing with it enthusiastically. Evelyn is attempting to assert control over some of my properties. Khloe held her tongue, thoughts swirling in her head. She realized Evelyn harbored aspirations, yet she never envisioned they extended to such lengths. How can I assist you today? She inquired with a hint of uncertainty. Arthur let out a weary sigh, setting the document down on the desk once more. I've got it under control, but I appreciate your concern. Even with his resolute reply, Khloe noticed that the circumstances were impacting him more deeply than he revealed during lunch. Evelyn made her entrance into the dining room, exuding her usual elegance and poise. She appeared unaware of the unease that lingered in the air of the house. Arthur, have you had a chance to think over my proposal regarding the investments? She inquired nonchalantly. While seated at the table, Arthur gazed at her with an unsettlingly serene demeanor. Absolutely not, and I recommend you cease attempting to impose your desires. This battle is not one you can win. Evelyn chuckled gently, though a trace of anxiety lingered in her tone. I genuinely desire the best for you and for our relationship. Khloe, attending to the table, observed the silent communication in their exchanged glances. Evelyn appeared resolute in upholding at her pretense, yet Arthur had grown weary of participating in her charade. Post lunch, Arthur invited Khloe to accompany Tim in the garden. The sun shone brightly, and he appeared enthusiastic about embracing the fresh air. Is it possible for individuals to transform themselves? He inquired abruptly, his gaze fixed on the blossoms. Khloe paused to gather her thoughts before responding. Seems possible, yet it requires both determination and bravery. Arthur inclined his head with a measured gesture. What happens if they lack that? What if they would prefer to obliterate everything instead of attempting to transform? Khloe gazed at him, understanding that he was referring to Evelyn. It seems that transformation occurs primarily when individuals find themselves in a position of diminished authority. Perhaps that is what they require to gain a new perspective. Arthur held his tongue, yet his grip on the armrests of his chair grew a touch firmer as Khloe tidied up the library. Lucas reached out once more. His tone was unusually bright, eliciting a smile from her. Today I engaged in a delightful role play as a doctor with Anna. She mentioned that I excel at looking after others. You're amazing at everything, my love, Khloe said with a laugh. Lucas hesitated for a moment before inquiring, when might I have the chance to visit you at the mansion? I'm eager to see the flowers you mentioned in due time. My dear, I assure you we'll make arrangements, Khloe said, her heart heavy. With emotion, after ending the call, she gazed at the phone for a few moments, struggling to contain her feelings. Lucas served as her ultimate source of inspiration, yet the distance was increasingly difficult to endure. Later that afternoon, Khloe discovered Lucy in the kitchen. The housekeeper appeared, anxious, and Khloe observed that she was clutching an envelope. "Today I received this, you really should take a look at this," Lucy remarked, passing the envelope to Khloe. Upon opening it, Khloe discovered yet another menacing note. "You're crafting your own downfall. Depart before the moment slips away." A shiver coursed through Khloe, yet her resolve intensified. She was aware that Evelyn was the mastermind, yet she would not allow it to daunt her. "I'm not going anywhere," Khloe declared with conviction. Tucking the note away, Lucy nodded, yet her expression lingered with worry. "Exercise caution, Khloe. Evelyn poses a threat." Later that evening, Arthur requested Khloe to join him in the Waite office. He gazed at the same stack of papers he had examined before, but now his demeanor reflected concentration. Instead of frustration, he started as Khloe approached, asking her earlier how she could assist. "Indeed," she responded. Poised for him to elaborate, Arthur extended one of the documents and offered it to her. "Please take a moment to read this. I would love to hear your thoughts." Khloe picked up the paper and started to read. The proposal for asset transfers was evidently crafted to serve Evelyn's interests. Upon completing her task, she turned her gaze towards Arthur. "This is an obvious move to seize power," Khloe stated. With candor, Arthur offered a sardonic smile. "Precisely. And that's why I appreciate having individuals like you nearby, those who perceive reality with clarity." Khloe experienced a surge of pride, yet she was acutely aware that the underlying tension in the house was far from resolved. The following morning, Evelyn exhibited a noticeable increase in her aggression. She burst into the living room where Khloe was helping Arthur, throwing a piercing look their way. "Arthur, we must have a conversation now," she remarked, her irritation barely concealed. Arthur gazed at her, his demeanor steady and resolute. "If this concerns the documents, my decision has already been made." Evelyn folded her arms across her chest. "You're making an error, and it's entirely due to her," she remarked, gesturing towards Khloe. Khloe remained motionless, yet Arthur swiftly stepped in. "Do not place the weight of your shortcomings on her, Evelyn. She is not involved in this at all." Evelyn appeared taken aback by his reply, yet swiftly regained her composure. "This will come back to haunt you, Arthur, I assure you of that." With a fierce determination, she burst out of the room, the door crashing shut in her wake. The following morning, Khloe was putting the final touches on the arrangement of the kitchen utensils when Lucy burst in. Khloe felt a subtle tension in her expression that made her uneasy. "Arthur, I requested that you head to the office. He has something significant to talk about," Lucy murmured, her voice barely above a run. Whisper. Khloe nodded and swiftly headed to the office, where she discovered Arthur in his wheelchair, a pile of papers spread across the desk. He appeared more solemn than ever. "Please, Khloe, take a seat," he said, motioning for her to join him. Khloe complied, settling into the chair next to the desk. "What seems to be the matter?" Sir Arthur smoothed his hand across the papers, arranging them into a tidy pile before he finally broke the silence. "I've uncovered a secret that Evelyn has been concealing, a revelation that has the potential to alter everything." Khloe scowled. "What precisely?" Arthur presented her with one of the documents. "These documents pertain to financial matters. Evelyn redirected resources from one of the properties under my management. Moreover, she deceived regarding the prevent worth of the assets, distorting the profits." Khloe perused the documents, not tightening in her stomach. "This matter holds significant weight. What are your intentions moving forward?" Arthur gazed at her, his demeanor unwavering. "Last night I faced her directly. As anticipated, she refuted all claims. However, I now possess sufficient evidence to displace her from any role of authority in this setting." "Is she aware of this?" Khloe inquired. "She is aware. That's precisely why I'm concerned about her next move," Arthur responded. Khloe sensed the gravity of his words. Evelyn found herself trapped, and individuals of her kind were the most perilous. Subsequently, Khloe found herself aiding Arthur in his physical therapy regimen. He appeared resolutely focused, channeling every ounce of his energy into each action I want to see. "How far I can go today," he declared, placing his hands firmly on the parallel bars. Khloe positioned herself beside him, prepared to offer her assistance. "Proceed." "With caution, sir. Progress unfolds." Gradually, Arthur started to raise of himself, his arms quivering with the strain. This time he successfully maintained his balance for a longer duration before settling back into his chair. "You are exceeding your own standards, sir." "This is incredible," Khloe said, a smile spreading across her face. Arthur gazed at her beads of sweat trickling down his forehead. "Your assistance means more to me than you might understand, Khloe. I find it hard to admit, but I believe your presence is essential right now." Khloe felt a wave of surprise at his genuine words, yet she found herself at a loss for how to reply. With a gentle smile, she resumed her efforts to make him feel at ease once more as the afternoon sun cast a warm glow. Evelyn made her way into the dining room where Khloe was busy arranging the table. She appeared noticeably strained, and the look she shot at Khloe was brimming with animosity. "Do you genuinely believe there's a future for you here?" Evelyn inquired with a hint of contempt. Khloe paused her activity and locked eyes with her. "I'm ready to get to work. I have no desire for discord." Evelyn emitted a brief, sharp laugh. "Disagreement? You have already crafted one." "Arthur opposes me because of you," Khloe responded with a steady resolve, stating that Arthur is opposed to you due to your attempt to betray him. Evelyn moved in her proximity, almost electric. "Do you believe you can challenge me? Individuals like you have no place in this realm. I will bring about your downfall." Just as Khloe was about to reply, Arthur stepped into the room. He took a moment to take in the scene before uttering a word. "That will do, Evelyn. This has gone too far," he stated with conviction. Evelyn glanced at him, taken aback. "Arthur, take her words with a grain of salt. My only desire is for your well-being." Arthur gave a slight shake of his head. "What suits me best? You mean what's truly best for you? I've had my fill, Evelyn. This house no longer holds a space for you." Evelyn paused, her body rigid before a harsh laugh escaped her lips. "Do you really believe you can dismiss me so effortlessly? I possess knowledge that could bring about your downfall." Arthur stayed unbothered. "Feel free to act as you wish, but understand that any actions you take against me will merely reveal your true self." Evelyn burst out of the room, leaving Khloe and Arthur in solitude. "Thank you for standing up for me, sir," Khloe said, her tension still palpable. "I didn't do it for you, Khloe. That accomplished it for my own sake. It's in Oblang. About time I began asserting myself as well," he responded. Later that evening, Khloe found herself on the phone with Lucas once more, his voice cut through the day's chaos like a soothing balm. "Today I created a large house surrounded by beautiful flowers in the garden. Does it resemble the mansion?" "Indeed, it appears quite similar," Khloe remarked. "What about the man in the chair? Is he taking a stroll?" Lucas inquired. "He putting in the effort, my dear, and he's truly advancing," Khloe responded, filled with pride. Once the call ended, Khloe pondered over Lucas's remarks. His straightforward perspective on life served as a poignant reminder of her purpose, confronting all that lay ahead. The following day, Evelyn's demeanor intensified further. She steered clear of Arthur, yet seized every opportunity to face Khloe head-on. As Khloe meticulously arranged the kitchen cabinets, Evelyn burst in unexpectedly, her arms crossed defiantly. "You ought to go before it escalates," Evelyn warned, her voice laced with menace. Khloe paid no mind to her and pressed on with her tasks. "I cautioned you," Evelyn persisted. "This place will leave you with regrets. I didn't come here to argue with you, Evelyn. I am present to contribute and assist." "Mistra Foster," Khloe urged, retaining her composure. Evelyn moved in closer, yet just as she was about to speak, Lucy emerged at the door. "Is everything okay here?" Lucy inquired, her gaze piercing as it landed on Evelyn. Evelyn remained silent. She exited the kitchen, her frustration evident. As the day drew to a close, Arthur requested Khloe to join him once more in the Brizent office. He appeared at ease, as if a fame and challenging choice had at last been resolved. "Khloe, I truly appreciate all that you've done for me dealing with Evelyn is certainly a challenge, and with me," he remarked, offering her a subtle smile. "It's my duty, sir, and I feel honored to witness your advancement. Khloe responded. Arthur gave a slight shake of his head. It goes beyond that. You've revealed to me that there exists something beyond. Perhaps there remains something valuable to strive for. Khloe was struck by the weight of his words. For the first time she perceived Arthur not as a resentful figure, but as an individual starting to piece himself back together. The morning unfolded with a unique vibrancy in the mansion. The atmosphere was charged with tension, yet it also carried a whisper of impending transformation. While Khloe busied herself with breakfast, she sought to arrange her thoughts regarding all that had transpired in recent days. Evelyn loomed as a menacing figure, yet Arthur's resolve to confront her grew stronger than ever as Khloe completed the arrangement of the tray. Lucy stepped into the kitchen. "Have you heard about Evelyn's plans?" Lucy inquired, her voice laced with worry. Khloe halted, her gaze fixed on her. "No, what is she doing now?" Lucy let out a heavy sigh, her arms folding across her chest. "She has been conversing with several of Arthur's attorneys and appears to be seeking their backing to contest his capacity to make decisions regarding his own business." A shiver coursed through Khloe, sending a jolt down her spine. Could that really be a possibility? While there may not be overwhelming proof, Evelyn possesses a cleverness that cannot be overlooked. By skillfully influencing the prize right individuals, she has the potential to create significant challenges for him. Lucy elaborated. Khloe pressed her lips together, a sense of unease tightening within her. Arthur must be informed about this. Gave a slight nod. "It's your responsibility to convey that message to him. He has faith in you." Later, Khloe discovered Arthur in the garden, admiring the flowers bathed in the morning sunlight. He appeared more composed than normal, yet Khloe understood that this tranquility was merely fleeting excuse. Mr. Foster, could we have a moment to talk?" she inquired, drawing closer to him. Arthur pivoted his chair to meet her gaze. Absolutely. What is it exactly?" Khloe shared the insights Lucy had conveyed regarding Evelyn and her intentions. As she spoke, she noticed Arthur's expression stiffen, his gaze becoming more frigid with each passing word. He murmured to himself, more than addressing Khloe, "She's truly gone that far. We must take action before she makes any progress." Khloe urged. Arthur nodded, his jaw clenched in determination. "This was anticipated. I have something ready, but it will demand some patience. She must commit her last blunder before I can reveal her entirely." Khloe paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. What if she attempts something prior to that? Arthur met her gaze, his tone unwavering. "At that point we will be prepared." That afternoon, Arthur invited Khloe to accompany him to the physical therapy room. He appeared determined, as though he were transforming his frustration into tangible exertion. "How about we engage in a fun little activity for those who focus solely on the comments? Leave a comment with Coca-Cola. Only those who have journeyed to this point will truly comprehend. Let us proceed with the narrative. Today I'm going to attempt to stand once more," he declared, placing his possidong chair next to the parallel bars. Khloe approached with purpose, prepared to lend a hand. "Proceed with caution, sir. Progress unfolds gradually." Arthur started to be said, hoist himself up, channeling every ounce of strength from his arms. He succeeded in rising slightly, his muscles quivering from the strain. Khloe felt a surge of adrenaline as she stood by him, providing words of motivation. "You're doing fantastic, sir," she exclaimed with excitement. Arthur stood tall for a brief moment before sinking back into his chair, weary yet content. He gasped for air, yet a subtle smile crept onto his lips. He spoke, breathless. "I felt something in my legs." Khloe beamed. "That significant advancement. Each tiny stride matters." Arthur regarded her, his eyes reflecting a gentler warmth than normal. "This has involved you, Khloe. Thanks a lot." After the session, as Khloe assisted Arthur in returning to his chair, Evelyn made her entrance, allowing each. She paused in the doorway, observing them with a look of contempt. "Another small showcase," she remarked, folding her arms across her chest. Arthur pivoted to confront her, his demeanor resolute. "If your intention is to cast judgment on Evelyn, I recommend you take your leave." Evelyn emitted a brief chuckle. I'm merely expressing the reality, Arthur. You are deceiving yourself, and she remarked, gesturing towards Khloe, is merely contributing to it. Khloe remained quiet, yet Arthur quickly replied, what Khloe is engaging in is an endeavor you never undertook, encouraging me to have faith in my own abilities, and that's a truth that remains solely mine. Evelyn cast a sharp glance but remained silent. She burst out forcefully, shutting the door in her wake. Later that night, Khloe found herself in the kitchen, meticulously arranging the cabinets when Lucas's call came through. The sound of her son's cheerful voice brought a welcome relief after the tension of the branch day. Mummy, today I created a drawing of you and the man in the chair. He strolls through the illustration, Lucas exclaimed with enthusiasm. Khloe chuckled softly. Is that so? I eagerly anticipate witnessing it. Are you conducting yourself appropriately indeed? But I long for you. Lucas murmured, his tone gentle. I long for you as well, my dear, but we will be together soon, I promise, Khloe said, her throat tightening with emotion. After the slave call ended, Khloe remained motionless for a brief moment, clutching the phone tightly. Lucas served as her ultimate inspiration. She understood that all her endeavors within the mansion were dedicated to him. The following morning, Arthur invited Khloe to accompany him once more to the library. He perused a collection of documents, his demeanor intent. I have something significant to share with you, he started off, his gaze averted from her. I'm all ears, Sir. Khloe responded, intrigued. Arthur shut the mention folder of documents and turned his gaze toward her. At last, I am finally ready to face Evelyn and settle this matter once and for all. However, it's important to understand that this could alter many aspects here. Khloe frowned. Could you clarify what you mean? Arthur inhaled deeply. Should circumstances begin to unravel, you could find yourself in the crosshairs as well. Well, I'm curious to find out if you're prepared to take that on. Khloe paused briefly, contemplating her response. I have a purpose here, and I won't back down. Arthur offered a faint smile, giving a nod. I anticipated you would respond that way. The morning unfolded with a thick atmosphere of unease in the mansion. Khloe was aware that Arthur was gearing up to confront Evelyn, yet her greatest worry lay in the potential schemes Evelyn could be concocting. Their exchange had become increasingly charged lately, and Khloe sensed that a significant event was on the horizon. While whipping up breakfast, Lucy rushed into the kitchen, clutching an envelope. Khloe halted her activities as well, once drawn in by the concern etched on her face. Yet another note, Khloe inquired, fully anticipating the response. With a subtle nod, Lucy extended the envelope towards her. Khloe unsealed it and absorbed the menacing message. If you believe victory is within your grasp, you are sorely mistaken. She's in a tough spot, Lucy remarked, folding her arms. Khloe inhaled deeply, carefully folded the note and tucked it away in her pocket. Desperation holds its perils, yet I stand prepared. Later that morning, Arthur called Khloe to his office. He sat in his wheelchair, a laptop aglow before him with a scattering of documents laid out across the desk. As Khloe stepped inside, he motioned for her to take a seat. He began by sharing the news he received from his legal team. Evelyn attempted to move a considerable sum of money to an offshore account. The transaction was blocked, yet it demonstrates her readiness to go to any lengths. Khloe's expression darkened. What will your next move be? Arthur shut the laptop, his demeanor resolute. Today marks a significant moment. I will present her with the proof and insist that she exits my life permanently. What if she declines? Khloe inquired, her concern evident. Then I shall pursue legal action, Arthur responded. However, I wish to attempt to address this without causing any controversy, at least for the time being. The tense encounter unfolded in the living room as Arthur summoned Evelyn for a crucial conversation. Khloe lingered in the kitchen, the air heavy, as with tension that felt as if it could permeate the very walls around her. What is your reasoning behind this, Evelyn? Arthur commenced, his tone steady yet resolute. What are you up to, Evelyn? Responded, her tone tinged with a feigned purity. Arthur set the documents down on the table. You understand perfectly what is needed. Misappropriating resources, attempting to control my enterprise. This will not be accepted. Evelyn chuckled, though a hint of anxiety tinged her tone. Do you genuinely believe you can lay this accusation at my feet? There is no evidence to support that claim I possess. All the evidence required, Arthur stated, gesturing towards the documents. If the situation demands, I will pursue legal action. The room fell into a hush for a brief moment before Evelyn burst forth. Are you really suggesting that I've betrayed you after all that I've sacrificed for you? I stood alone when others were absent. You came here, thinking you could gain something, Arthur shot back. But that stops here from afar. Khloe tuned in, the sound of their voices reverberating throughout the home as the door swung open with a sudden force. Evelyn burst forth, her cheeks burning. With fury, she cast Khloe a scathing look before vanishing down the corridor. Arthur arrived a moment later, clearly unsettled. She is departing, he remarked, his tone gentler at this moment. Did she really agree to it? Khloe inquired. Taken act not precisely yet, she is aware of her disorientation. The attorneys will take care of everything else, he responded. Khloe experienced a surge of relief, yet she understood that the struggle was far from finished. That afternoon, while Khloe assisted Arthur with his physical therapy, he appeared to be more concentrated than ever before. Each gesture, regardless of its size, resonated with significance. You appear to have a stronger resolve today, Khloe remarked, while she fine-tuned the equipment. That's because I realize I'm once again in command, Arthur replied, and I intend to maintain that position. He started to hoist himself on the parallel bars, his arms quaking with the strain. Khloe supported him at every turn until he was able to maintain his balance longer than he ever had before. That's absolutely amazing, sir, Khloe said, her grin beaming. Arthur gazed at her, panting slightly yet wearing a contented grin. Your support has been invaluable, Khloe. I couldn't have reached this point without you. Thanks a lot. Khloe sensed her heart quicken yet managed to keep her poise. Your hard work is truly commendable, sir. My purpose is to assist you. As Khloe meticulously arranged the library, Lucas reached out. Once more, his joyful tone provided comfort in the midst of the turmoil of recent times. Mom, when will I be able to come see you? I can't wait to see the man in the chair, Lucas exclaimed with enthusiasm. Before long, my dear. I assure you will make it happen, Khloe said with a chuckle. Lucas hesitated for a moment before inquiring, is he walking yet? He's really advancing well, darling, Khloe expressed her pride, noting his remarkable strength. Once the call ended, Khloe pondered over Lucas's remarks. She recognized that Arthur was beginning to reconnect with his simple, pure faith. As the day drew to a close, Arthur invited Khloe to accompany him to the garden. The sky stretched wide, adorned in gentle hues of orange and pink, evoking a tranquil ambience. Today held great significance, Arthur remarked, his eyes fixed on the horizon. Indeed, it was. You managed everything exceptionally, Khloe responded. Arthur gazed at her, his features more tender than she had ever witnessed. You are involved in this, Khloe. Your presence has been essential to my Bathe journey, and I truly appreciate it. Khloe sensed a warmth blossoming in her chest, yet before she could find her words, Arthur pressed on. He started pausing. Briefly, there's something I need to say. I sense a transformation within myself, and I believe you are the catalyst for it. Khloe remained quiet, taking AB back. By his remarks, she had observed a change in Arthur, but when he spoke of it, she found herself momentarily at a loss for words. I appreciate you sticking by me, he said, a shy smile gracing his lips. Khloe has ultimately discovered her unique expression. I will always stand by you, Arthur, for I see depths within you that you have yet to uncover. In the days that ensued, the mansion underwent significant transformations. Evelyn departed suddenly, creating a lingering atmosphere of resentment and bitterness that Arthur appeared resolute in his efforts to transcend. In her absence, a fresh vitality enveloped the house, transforming the mansion into a space that felt less suffocating. Arthur's concentration reached new heights. His physical therapy sessions had become a daily ritual, and he was determined to test his boundaries. Khloe stood beside him at every turn, offering encouragement and unwavering support. On a bright and cheerful afternoon, Arthur accomplished what had once appeared unattainable. He rose from the parallel bars independent of Khloe's assistance. It lasted just a brief moment, yet it was sufficient to evoke tears in her eyes. "You did it, Khloe," exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. Arthur, panting yet glowing, responded, "We accomplished it. This victory belongs to both of us equally," she chuckled, swiftly dabbing at her eyes. "You are exceeding all anticipated standards, sir." Arthur gazed at her intently, his face conveying an emotion that transcended mere gratitude, including my own, yet your presence served as a reminder that it remained within reach. As the night unfolded, Khloe was getting ready for bed, when Lucas's call came through. Her son's joyful voice dispelled her weariness. "Mom, I created another drawing today. It's just us along with the fellow seated in the chair we find ourselves gathered at." Apart, Khloe chuckled, envisioning the straightforward yet significant illustration I eagerly anticipate. "Witnessing it, my dear. We're on the brink of bringing that to fruition." "Is he going to walk, Mummy?" Lucas inquired with a purity that only a young heart could possess. "Indeed, my dear, he's drawing nearer with each passing day," Khloe remarked, sensing the reality in her statement. After hanging up, Khloe reflected on how her experience in the mansion had transformed not just Arthur, but her as well. The following morning, Arthur summoned Khloe to the office. He sat in his wheelchair, an envelope lying on the desk before him. "Khloe, you've transcended the role of just an employee. In my eyes," he began, his voice unwavering, yet heartfelt. Her heart raced with intensity. "I have simply acted in accordance with my beliefs, Sir." Arthur offered a faint smile. "And that surpasses what many would accomplish. Your impact on my life has been profound, and I aspire to make a difference in yours, too." He gently pushed the envelope in her direction. "Unveil it." Khloe paused, her hand hovering over the envelope, uncertainty clouding her thoughts. Within the confines of the envelope, she discovered a formal contract extending an offer for a permanent role as his personal assistant, accompanied by a problems salary that surpassed her wildest dreams. "I don't know what to say," Khloe whispered, her eyes brimming with tears. "Promise you'll accept," Arthur said with a smile. Khloe nodded, allowing the tears to life stream down her cheeks. "At last, I agree. I appreciate it, sir." That evening, Khloe and Lucas found themselves together once more at the mansion. Arthur had urged the boy to come over, and to Khloe's astonishment, he had taken the time to assemble a thought gift for Lucas, a professional drawing kit. Lucas was overjoyed, dashing forward to embrace Arthur with unreserved enthusiasm. "Thank you, kind sir." Arthur chuckled, inspired by the boy's infectious enthusiasm, as he had declared, "I'm going to draw you walking. I'll put in the effort to ensure that comes to fruition shortly. Sound good?" In the weeks that followed, Arthur poured and himself into his recovery, fueled by an even deeper sense of determination. Lucas's presence infused the mansion with a refreshing vibrancy, and even Lucy appeared more uplifted with the shift in her atmosphere. Then one day, the unthinkable occurred. In the midst of a physical therapy session, Arthur achieved the breaking-standard, remarkable milestone of taking his first step. It was tentative yet genuine, Khloe observed in astonishment as Arthur, leaning against the bars, advanced one leg ahead. "You've accomplished it," Elle cried out, struggling to contain her emotions. Arthur beamed, his eyes glistening with delight. "This marks the start of something greater." Months later, the grand estate buzzed with festivity. Arthur organized an intimate gathering in the Prescience garden to commemorate his recovery and the transformations in his life. Khloe and Lucas stood beside him, accompanied by Lucy, whose smile was infectious. As the event drew to a close, Arthur surprised everyone with an unexpected action. He grasped Khloe's hand, his gaze penetrating as it locked onto hers. "Khloe, you illuminated my world when it was shrouded in shadows. You provided me with reasons to have faith once more, and now I wish to inquire if you would remain by my side, not merely as my assistant, but as my partner in life." Khloe stood in silence, yet the glimmer of tears in her eyes paired with the smile gracing her lips spoke volumes. Lucas dashed over, enveloping them both in a warm embrace. At this moment, we truly embody the essence of family. Several months later, Arthur and Khloe exchanged vows in a profoundly modest yet heartwarming ceremony, brimming with love. Lucas radiating his Khloe. Opus, infectious enthusiasm captivated everyone around him, while Arthur now, relying on a cane for support, shared a heartfelt address on the themes of perseverance and affection. The mansion, previously steeped in tension and solitude, now resonated with vibrant life and joyous laughter for Arthur. Khloe. Lucas, this marked the dawn of a tale, brimming with optimism and joy. What about you? What are your thoughts on the narrative of Khloe and Lucas? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Please provide a rating for this story on a scale from 0 to 10. What is your score? Join our channel and activate notifications to stay up on all our blinded narratives. Be sure to explore more heartfelt tales by clicking here on the end screen.